Victor.
Conrad.
Yes.
Look at this.
Oh. You.
Yeah.
Go. Go.
I don't know.
Go.
I don't know.
Go. Go. It doesn't matter. Go. Go.
I've been thinking a lot lately about how
There we go.
I think about.
Me and Brandon both were leaning back. Like, yes, we did it.
I think about suicide every day of my life. This is the conversation I was gonna have. I sit for some amount of time and think about wanting to die every single day of my life, and it's really gotten to the point where I think about the fact that I'm thinking about suicide more than I think about suicide.
I really hope this is product placement for Starbucks.
I wish it were. But it's become such a weird thing with me, where it's like, it's not something that I really consider doing, but it's something I have a fascination with, and I just can't fucking stop thinking about it. Especially when I'm stressed out. That is where I was going with that conversation. How do you feel about this?
One time I came up with the idea for a comic book called Tournament of Suicide. It's about this guy commits suicide for some reason, and I think it was because someone he knew that like one of his friend's soul had gone to hell, so he commits suicide to go down there to save them, and then there's like a tournament in hell where everyone tries to kill themselves in the most extreme way, and you basically have infinite resources to do this, and so he's trying to win the tournament of suicide by having the craziest suicide. And so the whole comic would just be people having crazy suicides.
That's interesting.
Is that interesting?
No, it's retarded.
I thought it was horrible.
I started to, like...
But whenever I think about suicide, I think Tournament of Suicide.
Oh my god.
Lately, I've been really trying to find, like, the right way to express my feelings of suicide through my own art. And that's, like, part of the script I'm producing now has something to do with that, where the main character basically, like...
Well, why don't you keep trust in my self-righteous suicide?
Oh!
I cry when angels deserve to die, Victor.
Ugh. I'm so done.
No, by all means, continue talking about your depressing shit.
It's not, I think it's interesting. It's not depressing to me. That's one of the weird things about it, is that it's so normal to me that it's not even really depressing.
What are you, from Greenland or something?
Yeah. But I was gonna say, an element of the character in the script I wrote, he's rejected by this girl, and the first thing he says is, I'm gonna go kill myself. And for me, about this character is that he's so obsessed with suicide, he thinks about it so much and he attempts it so many times that for him it's just become this run-of-the-mill boring thing where it's just like, it's obvious that he's gonna go do that. That's just what he does. And so he ends up being like really insensitive and being a total fucking douchebag. And it's that kind of mentality that I'm trying to explore and trying to give a new like perspective on this idea of suicide.
Have you ever watched Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei?
I have when I was a child. I should probably watch it again.
Zetsubo Sensei's character is that he's so obsessed with trying to kill himself that to him it's like a passion.
Yeah,
and like
exactly.
it's just like really passé to him.
It's just this
he
thing. It's just a
carries
part of
around
your
a
life.
suicide kit at all times.
Yeah, but to me, it's like it's just become a part of my life. It's part of who I am. That I have this fucking insatiable desire to kill myself at all times. That does not make any real sense.
I'm gonna find a psychologist for you.
It's not destructive. It's not a bad thing. So it really doesn't matter.
Me and Brandon are giving each other that look.
Like, it doesn't really impact my life in a negative way. I still function and I still get through it all. So it doesn't really matter in the end. It's just like an idea.
I think me and Brandon are both thinking as people who've attempted suicide.
Yeah.
That we'd rather not.
No. It's just people, feel differently about different things. I'm underplaying it a little bit.
Have you ever attempted suicide?
Not really. Not seriously. Like, I've never really made that effort because I always have too many reasons not to do it and too much guilt about it.
Brandon, didn't you, shoot yourself in the face?
No, well, what happened was my friend was killing themselves, and they had the gun, and I moved it out of the way, and it went off right next to my ear. So I really didn't.
Did any of them kill themselves?
No, I really prevented.
But a
it.
gun
Yeah.
did go off.
Yeah, like right next to my head.
Yeah.
It's close enough.
Anyways, to me, it's just like this whole different mentality on it, where I've just been dealing with the shit for so long, and it's
You
just
know
like I've
how I
learned to
try.
get by.
I think you told me before.
I think you'll laugh if I tell you again.
I
was in 3rd grade, and school was too much pressure, and I was getting bullied. So I went into Shade's room, and he had like this string that goes around the wall of the room of clothespins that had Beanie Babies on them. And so I took 2 of those clothespins and put one over my nose and one over my mouth to try to suffocate
Oh my
myself.
god. It's just such the most childish thing.
I knew you'd laugh. He can't stop
Yeah.
laughing. Oh god.
I had moments
And,
where I was
too,
like,
needless to say, the clothespins hurt too much. So I
or
stopped.
I think I was like 10 one time, and I had a knife, and I was like, I could just shove this through my temple, and I'll die, and like.
Through your temple.
Yeah, I wanted to shove a knife through
Who
my
shoves a
temple.
knife
That's
through
how
their
I.
temple?
That was how I thought it was done. Needless to say, I didn't go through with it. But I certainly had the idea. It's always been a thing. But then it's like, you know, I've developed this very weird perspective on it.
I think we can all agree that that scene in the Royal Tenenbaums hit kind of close
Oh my
to home.
fucking god. That scene wrecks me. Lots of things with suicide really wreck me. It really bothers me in movies when they use suicide as a plot device, because it's like, it's become such a weird thing.
I wouldn't say it was a plot device in that. Though.
Not in that, no. I was talking about in that movie The Joneses. Like, it really pissed
Oh,
me
yeah, that
off.
was
they
fucking gay.
they totally use suicide as a complete plot device, and it really pisses me off when it's done that way.
That was the worst. But in
Oh my god, have you ever watched fucking
in Royal Tenenbaums, it was great.
Royal Tenenbaums, fucking Dead Poets Society? Oh my fucking
Oh, yeah,
god.
Dead Poets Society.
That movie wrecks my shit, man. It's the scariest thing.
All I know about that movie is, oh, Captain, my Captain.
No. There's so much more than that.
I haven't seen it, though.
It's a pretty good movie. It'll definitely make you feel like, oh my god, like I would be such a fucking cunt if I like killed myself.
Well, then don't.
Yeah, I won't. I mean, I don't ever
The
plan
shield is
to.
gone.
It's a fascination.
It's
It's a fascination.
Okay, when you say the word fascination, I always think of Bakemonogatari.
Uh-huh.
Because in that show, the show is sort of a commentary on like moe culture and anime
Yes.
culture, and they were talking about how they don't like how the term moe has kind of fallen out, and
Yeah.
Senjo Gahara says that she wants the phrase fascination to come in, and so when Araragi falls in love with her, he says, you know, I think I can see Senjo Gahara fascination coming into play. And so my entire analysis of Bakemonogatari is based on, do I find this arc fascinating?
Uh-huh.
So when you say fascination, I think of moe. And you're talking about suicide fascination, and I'm like, Victor has a suicide moe.
Yes,
Clearly there needs
clearly.
to be like a cute anime girl who's obsessed with
Uh-huh.
suicide, and she will be after your heartstrings.
Clearly.
There probably is one.
Yeah. But it's become an interesting thing for me as an artist, because I realize, like, this is the big thing in my life. This is what I need to figure out how to express in, like, what I do. And it's ended up, like... And then it becomes cool, because it's inspiring to me, and it's like, this is probably gonna be a thing where I end up, like, making a good idea
He
out
has
of
to suffer
it.
for his art.
Apparently.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see where I go with that
You
idea.
should do some research on like Japan and Greenland and figure out why everyone kills themselves.
Different, like, cultural views on it.
Well, like 1 in 5 people in Greenland kill themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just like a thing.
Some-
I mean, you remember the
Obscene,
story of
It's
my
like a rite of
Japanese
passage.
book that I told on this,
Right.
Where it's just like little jokes about suicide, and it's like, holy shit! Like, it's so normal in their culture at this point that they'll joke about it in Japanese
I
textbooks.
mean, they have to have signs in any
Yeah.
popular suicide spots telling you not to kill yourself and shit. Like, because so many people have hung
It's so
themselves on Mount
fucked up.
Fuji that they can't find all the bodies.
Uh,
There's just bodies everywhere on Mount Fuji. It's snowing on Mount Fuji.
yeah.
knowing
I don't know.
blood?
I might have a unique, weird fucking perspective on this shit, but it helps me get by. It helps me get through daily life. Because I realized after my experimentation with medication that it's really like, I don't like that shit, so like, I have to deal with my depression just by fucking dealing with it. And so I found my own ways to deal with it.
I feel like maybe you just need to see more psychologists.
Dude, fuck
and
that.
Find
That's
one that's
a
good.
pain in the ass. I'm doing fine.
If you say
There's
so.
no point in fixing something that you could just, you know, I'm getting through it. I have good support. I figure shit out, and I'm doing well. So it's really not a problem.
If you say so, man.
Yeah.
That's just my perspective on it all.
I certainly think if
Certainly
I was,
wouldn't recommend it for anyone because it's
if I was
a
thinking
ridiculous
about
thing.
suicide 24/7, I would definitely seek help.
But it's not in the sense you're thinking.
I know.
Hey,
it's
I got my
in-
shield back.
I don't. No matter what sense it is,
Yes.
thinking about suicide constantly is just a weird state of mind I wouldn't want to be in.
Yeah, I understand. I'm often like, man, like, how would anyone else feel to just be this way? But I don't know. I'm getting by.
Suicide Stallion.
Ah!
You should listen to.
I think it's freaky, man. This motherfucker right here.
The theme of suicide comes up a lot on Jenny Death, the new Death Grips album.
Yeah.
How is
song-
that album?
It's pretty great. I mean, every Death Grips album is pretty great, so it's not surprising. It is very good though. It's a very
Okay.
it's a very heavy album,
Burnt the guy. I killed
which
him.
is like, I wouldn't say Death Grips is particularly like, their sound is always like heavy, but this is like rock heavy. Like, it's got lots of guitars and
Rock heavy.
yeah.
It's like a heavy rock.
Yeah. You know, like a big old rock.
Like a boulder.
Yeah. Yeah. And Inanimate Sensations, probably one of my favorite Death Grip songs. It goes like, Inanimate Sensation! I like my iPod more than fucking.
Jesus.
He says that.
I believe it.
So, anyways, now that we've listened to Victor talk about suicide for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I told you it was gonna be dark what I had to talk about. And
I
that's
thought-
why I was kind of
I
hesitating.
thought you were gonna talk about
It's
the
a little
whole
dark.
girl that you like.
No,
thing,
I
and
was
you went on
gonna
a totally different subject.
because honestly, it's like I refrain from talking about it a lot. But that I'm thinking about that all the fucking time. Like anytime I'm alone in the car, I start to think about that topic, and so it's really, you know, I don't end up talking about it with anyone because I know no one's gonna really get it. Like that, no one's gonna get what I mean because it's kind of this weird thing.
Yeah.
And I hate when if I try to explain that to someone and they think that I need help or something like that, where it's like, you don't understand. Like there was a time where I did need help
Wait,
and where
open
it
that
was
chest.
that bad, but it's not like that right now.
I mean, I completely get.
And I went through the system. I tried.
Like,
I get it. I'm
I-
at the
went
end
through the
now. Like
system.
I feel complete in my understanding of myself at this point,
Like,
and it doesn't worry me
I
anymore.
get finding suicide fascinating. I find it fascinating, but I don't want to be thinking about it all the time.
Yeah, it's not desirable. I'm sure it'll fade at some point or be replaced with something, but I mean, it's just there's those times where it just becomes like a thing I'm thinking about all the time. And like I said, a lot of the time I'm spending more time thinking about the fact that I think about suicide than actually like considering the action. Which is weird. I have very
Let's make
obsessive
sure
routine
that-
thoughts like that.
Please make sure that our parents never listen to this.
I know,
show.
it's another thing with them where it's like there's no fucking way I can explain this to them in a way they would understand. Like they will never get my perspective on this. It's ridiculous. Ooh.
I could just see mom being like, "Do you ever think about suicide?" And you just be like, "Constantly."
It's like a whole, you know, different like culture and way of thinking than they would have even been able to fucking comprehend.
It's a whole new world you live in. It's a whole new attitude.
Oh my
It's a whole new place. Wait, I fucked it up. But you still gotta catch them all. And be the best that you can be. Pokemon Johto.
Yes.
Did you want to talk about this whole girl thing or whatever?
I don't know. I have more thoughts
in
on
the back of
suicide. I
his
feel like
head.
I should clear all of my thoughts on the topic of suicide in one
Oh
episode.
man, we're gonna be in for like. This is. We finally hit the bottom here. Shit adds up at the bottom, Victor.
I'd love to see the comments on this though. This is gonna be a weird
It's gonna be
discussion.
sad.
It's
Are
gonna
you
be a
naked and
sad
fearless?
discussion.
Because your fear is naked.
I feel like it's gonna be like a group hug on YouTube.
But that's the thing. I wouldn't want it to be a group hug because that's not how I feel about it. It's not like I'm
It's
I'm
going
depressed
to
about it or
become
anything.
that.
Which is it's ridiculous. Hey, I
you-
got bomb shoes.
Are you naked
You could have just gone
now
to the
and
magic
fearless
carpet
now,
guy,
Victor?
right?
Are you nothing now? You're no one
Yes.
now?
What a,
Your soul must be
is that
iron.
a song?
Yeah, it's Bottom by Tool.
Oh.
Remember when he gives the whole speech and he's like,
Yeah.
my soul must be iron, cause my fear is naked. I'm naked and fearless,
yes.
and my fear is naked. Nothing now. No one now. How much longer is the kid part? Should we just put the whole kid part in one video?
I
or-
guess. It's not too much longer, I don't think.
You have to get like.
I have to fight
the
some guy.
gauntlets.
Oh yeah, he's gonna fight the dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna fight the guy.
All right. Well, do you want to finish your suicide talk?
I don't know. That was. I think my last thing I had to say about it was, there came a point recently, where it dawned on me that not everyone thinks about suicide.
Yeah!
Which I had never thought about before. I just thought it was something that like everyone had considered. Like it like
We all just put
I
it
never
back
imagined that someone would have not have considered it before.
No.
And then I was like, oh, I'm a little fucked up, aren't I?
You're considering.
It's like I've done it since I was such a young age that it's really just kind of like, of course. I don't know.
Like,
it's weird.
I've had. I know what you mean. It's like it's weird to me that other people don't think about it,
Yeah.
and I think that the average person has been at least somewhat depressed before.
Yeah. It's just they never had it in their head that it was an option.
Right.
Whereas to me, it's like it's always been an option, which is really horrible.
Yeah. I can't see ever committing suicide.
Yeah, I mean, I never do it. Exactly. It's like I would never commit suicide.
Because, like-
I'm way past the thought of like
There's-
really believing I would ever do
There's
that.
just way too much cool shit to do.
Yeah. Too much. Like one of my
Like
things has
video
always
games.
been like, why would you kill yourself? If you're gonna just waste your life, you might as well like go do all the things you haven't done beforehand and just like really fucking give up.
Well,
Like
it's
like
just
if
like-
I'm gonna kill myself, why don't I like go do heroin first? Like fuck it. There's nothing to lose
Well,
at this point. I'm gonna die.
My
like
my perspective is
and then by the time I've done every drug in the world, I might not want to die anymore. I might
I'm-
just want to do drugs.
I'm gonna get old and die anyways.
Yeah.
And I don't want to.
So
I'd
you,
rather live
you might as well
forever.
just go for it.
I'm gonna
and
live
do
for as
whatever.
long as I fucking can. If
Yes.
that and I'm not saying that to mean, oh, I'm gonna live till I'm 90. I mean, I'm gonna live for hundreds of years. I am
Fuck
not.
yeah.
I am not going to die
Uh-huh.
before I am 200 years old. That is no. Fuck that. It is
Yeah.
unacceptable to die before I am ancient.
That's pretty cool. That's a nice way to think.
If I don't live, if I don't become at least bicentennial man, then I will be furious.
Yeah.
That's 2,000 years, isn't it?
I
It's a
feel
century, 1,000
like
years.
Yeah.
it's really
centuries
just
of
it's become a really bad habit for me that's stuck since high school because I used to think about it so much that now it's just like I think about it in this way where it's like I'm not considering it. I just end up thinking about it because it's the first thing I always think about because like I've had that obsession since I was in high school. So it's really just like a bad habit that I'm just gonna have to deal with for a long time. To me, it's like having a weird handicap where it's like I just have to deal with it forever, and it's just gonna
I'm
be
not
there.
sure you
like, it's-
have to deal with it forever. That's
I don't
what's
know.
that's what's getting me about this. Like you keep saying that, which implies that it's a problem, and then you're like, no, but I'm handling it fine. And it's like,
But I mean, it's
if you're
like
handling it fine, then it's not something you have to deal with.
But it is like if someone's got like a handicap, if they have like a weird problem with their body, and it's like it's still gonna be a problem forever, but they're handling it, you know,
Unless
like
they-
it's like it doesn't affect them, that doesn't bring down their life. They just kind of like have to figure out how to live with it.
Why didn't you go the other way around? It would have been faster.
I don't know. That's just my weird perspective on depression. But I mean, whatever. It helps me, you know, deal with it. So let me think whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah. Next time on Digibros, because this is obviously taking longer than you thought.
Yeah, I got the stuff.
Look, it's a chest.
I got a little
Right,
box.